Hola a todos. Buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? Espero que muy bien. Ya estamos, creo que unos cuantos ya en la reunión, así que en honor al tiempo y a la puntualidad de los presentes ya vamos a ir comenzando, ¿ok? Dicho sea de paso, no me acuerdo, la delegada creo que es Mónica, ¿verdad? ¿Cuántos somos en total? ¿Cuántos son en total los alumnos de esta materia?
Hola, profe. Mi internet no funciona bien, no te escuché bien lo que me dijiste.
Sí, quería saber cuántos alumnos son en total.
Y 13 más o menos, profe.
Estamos bien, ya entonces el número. Ok.
Sí.
Y entonces, para retomar un poco em, sobre la última clase, cuál fue el último tratado que estuvimos viendo? ¿Y qué ideas pueden rescatar de de este último tratado? Bueno, podemos también hacer de paso un repaso general, porque bueno, son varios tratados que vamos haciendo y estamos dando cuenta que cada uno es más importante que el otro, ¿verdad? ¿Qué opinan ustedes? Por ejemplo, el primero que vimos fue the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. Ok. Perdón que todavía no esté compartiendo pantalla, enseguida lo voy a hacer. Pero mientras tanto podemos debatir un poco. No se le ocurre nada, no se acuerdan de nada. Yeah, did you already forget about our treaties, about our conventions? Am I that boring to you?
Teacher, el que me acuerdo era.
Sí,
El que me acuerdo era el de los migrantes.
de los migrantes.
Sí.
Ok, está bien.
Derecho de los menores de edad también ahora, teacher.
Sí, súper. Muy bien. Esos fueron los últimos que fuimos dando, ¿verdad? Y sabemos que son muy importantes. ¿Cuál es la principal razón por la cual podemos identificar que son muy importantes? And because these treaties protect most of um, most of minorities and groups with vulnerabilities. Okay, for example, this first one, the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. Suppose that you go to the United States. You're Paraguayan. You don't speak English very well, and people discriminate you there because you are Latin American. You're not from there. You are not a citizen of the United States. You are not blonde with blue eyes. So they start discriminating. That's something that usually happens, okay, in every part of the world. For example, here in Paraguay, we tend to discriminate other people too from other countries, and that's not okay. We have in our law and in international law these provisions, these norms about against discrimination, and we are compelled to respect them and observe those norms. So, continuing, the second treaty was about civil and political rights. This is more general, okay? It's not about a minority or certain groups. It's about everyone. We all have these civil and political rights. For example, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, electoral rights, and the right to due process and a fair trial, just to cite just a few. Okay, so what do you think would happen if tomorrow our government just decide to start respecting those rights, stop stop promoting them? I think that given our democratic character of the Paraguayan people, we Paraguayan society, we will make this huge manifestation. This there's going to be chaos on the street, and people would all go out on the street and start protesting. What do you think? Or are you going to stay just with the how do we say in Spanish, with our arms closed and crossed without doing anything if those rights are not respected?
I think, o sea, creo que sí se respeta, pero hay cosas que no sé, por ejemplo, el derecho de los indígenas, por ejemplo, teacher, que hay varios donde se les quitaba sus terrenos y eso, no sé si se acuerdan de eso. En ese caso, ¿en cuál sería? ¿Entrarían en esta sección, por así decirlo, o no? El derecho a un lugar, pues, a un lugar de establecimiento, por así decirlo, donde ellos pueden... eh, porque los indígenas acá en Paraguay son muy discriminados también. Entonces, en qué sección por ahí entrarían ellos? El robo de su territorio no sería algo que va en contra de este mismo decreto.
Ok. Es más que interesante tu pregunta, Mónica, porque en el caso de los indígenas, ellos están especialmente protegidos también por leyes que tienen que ver específicamente sobre ellos, ¿ok? Y también tenemos legislación especial sobre legislación paraguaya interna nuestra sobre los derechos de los indígenas. La Constitución misma dice que hay que protegerles a ellos y hay que respetar su cultura y forma de organización social, y también hay que respetar sus tierras ancestrales. Está muy bien que señales eso, porque así como bien lo dijiste, muchas veces no se respeta. Y sí, por supuesto que ellos también entran en lo que es la convención que estaba citando recién, que es sobre los derechos civiles y políticos de las personas. Pero además de esas protecciones, ellos tienen otras protecciones especiales por ser ese grupo minoritario, relegado y discriminado muchas veces. En, hay,
Teacher, también hay etnias que no tienen acceso a agua potable acá en Paraguay. No sé muy bien los nombres de esas etnias, pero generalmente están asentadas en el Chaco. Y en ese caso, ¿qué derechos estamos, o sea, el gobierno paraguayo está como, ¿cómo puede ser? Están denegando o pisando esos derechos. ¿Cuál, ¿Cuáles serían esos, teacher?
ok, en este caso, lo que no está haciendo el gobierno es promover un derecho, el goce de un derecho que está obligado a promover, ¿ok? No, no es precisamente que está denegando, o sea, con una acción, con una omisión les está negando, ¿cierto? Pero no es con una acción, porque puede ser una acción o una omisión. Puede ser con, en acciones positivas o negativas. Cuando es omisión, se trata de este tipo de casos, cuando hay una falta de acción que hace que no se pueda gozar de ese derecho. Y sí, el derecho a la salud y al bienestar y al agua potable son más que básicos. Eso se garantiza eh, con este tipo de acciones positivas que que tiene que realizar el Estado, que es de garantizar que toda la población cuente con agua potable en sus viviendas, en sus localidades, en sus comunidades. Y este, tenemos en una convención sobre pueblos indígenas y tribales, que es también un instrumento universal, es decir, que está adoptado en el seno de las Naciones Unidas. ¿Ok? Es, es una convención que fue adoptada en 1989 y que en, en su espíritu, en la parte de su considerando, resalta que en muchas partes del mundo los derechos de los que son los pueblos originarios no son respetados en el mismo grado con que se respeta los derechos humanos del resto de la población en el que están. Vamos a, vamos a hablar pertinentemente de Paraguay. Bien, como dijiste, compañera, sabemos muy bien que nosotros en el día a día estamos más que conscientes que a los indígenas se les relega y no se les respeta sus derechos y se les roba sus tierras ancestrales, así como decir. Imagínense, vamos a empezar a hablar en inglés un poco también. Imagine there's no heaven, as John Lennon says. Just kidding. Imagine you are in, you are at home, you are chilling there, you are making dinner, or you are attending this class, and suddenly, and there's people coming, and they say to you, "We have this paper where and it says here that you are not the tenant of this place. Sorry, but you are not the owner. You are not supposed to live here, so you have to go out and never come back because we are the owner of this house of this and of this estate. Estate es inmueble en inglés. Con estate con e. Estate sin e. State es estado como país. And well, that is the case of most indigenous people here in Paraguay. That's why we have this many native people here wandering the streets because they don't have nowhere to go. It's not because they are lazy or they just want everything for free or they just want to wander and they don't want to work. They face this um, these many difficulties. Many of them caused by the discrimination, the structural discrimination um, the society in general have against them. For example, they don't know, they can't speak Spanish. In most cases, they can't even speak Guarani because they are from other ethnics. Okay, they don't just because they are indigenous. It doesn't mean that they speak Guarani because there are many other languages and dialects, and and that's the start. And they are discriminated and as well for their look. Okay, because you we all can identify indigenous people by their look. Okay, the tone of their skin and their and their hair, the form of their face of their faces. Eh, we don't look all the same. Okay, and that's why they are discriminated. And indigenous traits. We can say indigenous traits when we talk about rasgos indígenas. And they can get work and they can get jobs and to sustain their families. They don't have anywhere to live, and that's why um, they wander the streets. They are around the Indi. Okay, do you know the Indi, el Instituto Nacional del Indígena? They are around the and their offices because they don't have any nowhere to go. They are mostly from the Chaco region, and then can go back there because at some time people go there and says you have to leave this this state, this land, because this is not yours anymore. This is ours. This is a very terrible situation. Something that is worth the deal to fight against. I'm just trying to share um, my screen. So sorry because I couldn't make it. Not quite yet. Okay. And uh, I wanna. I am trying, but I can't. But because I have right here the Convention on Indigenous People and Tribes of 1989. So please have a little patience, please. As Guns N' Roses says, do you know the band Guns N' Roses? They have this song called Patience. And it's a very beautiful song, a beautiful and romantic song. It's unplugged. They don't use electric guitars. They use this acoustic guitar, and it's very romantic, very beautiful. If you have uh, a if you have a boyfriend and girlfriend, if you send them that song, they will love you forever. I'm only kidding. But it's a very beautiful song. And so I dedicate this song to you now because I need you to have a little patience with me until I can share my screen with you people. Yay, a little patience. I'm gonna try one more time. Mm. How about now? Did you can see the screen, my screen with the presentation?
Yes, teacher.
You can?
Yes,
All right.
teacher.
All right. So back on track then. We were doing some, you say, repaso in English. It's not like a very common word. We were doing some review or treaties, and we talk about the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination first, and then we went to the 1966 Convention on Civil and Political Rights, and then on 1979, the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. In 1989, 79 on foreign discrimination against women. In 1984, we have the Convention Against Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading punishment. 1989, we had the Convention on the Rights of Children. And 1990, we have the International Convention of the World on the Rights of All Migrant Workers and members of their families. And now we can continue with the, come on, International Covenant on the Protection of all persons from enforced disappearance. This is like a very, very important treaty. You know why? We don't know nothing about this treaty yet, but do you know why this convention is so important? What can you infer from its name, from its title? I want us to practice our English, okay? This is most important thing about learning the language. Practice. So when we talk about enforced disappearance, and in Spanish we talk about desapariciones forzosas. And this is quite a deal because um, when someone is disappeared in a enforced manner, we can all um, grant that person from death, right? And if a person is dead, there's no other rights that could be protected, right? Except their honor and their late memory. But of course, no other rights, right? And then in our country, this is very relevant because as we said in our last class, we have the our society, people from Argentina and Chile and Uruguay and Brazil. We all were victims from um, from from the Condor Plan. Okay, what did we say about el Plan Condor last class or the previous class before the last?
I don't remember very well, but algo de Estados Unidos era teacher, que hizo algo. But in here in Paraguay could be el EPP because they kind of been and Evelio Morínigo, many people, right?
All right, that's a very interesting appointment. Because the thing about human rights is that they have, as I said, voy a explicar en español para que se entienda un poco mejor. Hay cuestiones, hay acciones y omisiones que el Estado tiene que observar y es al Estado al que se le tiene que endilgar la obligatoriedad de su cumplimiento. Por ejemplo, cuando hablamos recién del derecho al agua potable que no es respetado, esa es una obligación positiva que tiene el Estado de fomentar eso, de promover eso a través de, por ejemplo, hacer pozos artesianos o a través de la ESAP hacerles llegar el agua por medio de los medios convencionales que son conductos de agua que llegan hasta todas las comunidades. Y hay también obligaciones negativas, que quiere decir dejar de hacer algo. En este caso, el Estado está obligado a no hacer ninguna intervención que desemboque en la desaparición forzosa de personas. Y es al Estado solamente al que se le puede reclamar la no observación de una convención internacional o de una ley cuando se habla de derechos humanos. En el caso del EPP, a ellos no se les puede reclamar eso porque ellos no son los que firmaron el acuerdo. Lo que se le podría reclamar al Estado es que no hizo lo suficiente para poder prevenir que eso pase. Pero ¿cómo puedes? How can one person prove that our state, our country, our police, our security agencies didn't make all they could to promote this right? So that's why when we talk about that's right, when we talk about this convention, we can say that the EPP has kidnapped or has disappeared people. We have to, and we can protest or demand our country, our state for not doing anything about it, because the state cannot be everywhere and doing everything. And I'm not justifying anyone, but that's the reality. And for example, we have like one policeman for every 100 people or something like that. It is not feasible to be and to our police to intervene um, in everything we are doing. Okay, but but when we talk about enforced disappearance, we are talking about the um, negative obligation of the state not um, of not making people disappear. Uh, We are with this convention. What the states are obliged to do is not disappearing people, and of course in the way they can and protect people from and making disappearing. But it's an obligation of the state for it to not disappear people. And we were talking about the Condor plan. The thing about the United States and the United States doesn't have um, anything to do with the Condor plan, as I understand it. It was about this military regimes in our countries, in Paraguay, and Brazil, and Uruguay, and Argentina, Chile. They our presidents back in that time, they decided to complot to make these plans so they can make disappear people, dissident people who escape to other countries in the region. And that's why these kind of conventions are so important, because our back then our countries weren't and didn't have this obligation. And this is like a kind of ironic and sort of dark funny, because um, we could all understand that this is not something that anyone or any country can do, but they did it back then. And and as it says here, and this convention is intended to prevent forced disappearance defined in international law and crimes against humanity. Okay, so but as I said, and the thing about this convention is that this convention obliges states, not particular people or um, private organizations. This is about the obligation of countries, the obligation of its agencies. For example, our police, they cannot just come to your house and take you wherever they want, and you never are seen. You never are seen again. Okay, if they come to your house to take you to prison, they have to they have to have a judicial order, a order from the judge. Okay, they cannot just do it because they wanted to. They wanted. They want to. So we can continue to the Convention of the Right. Oh, come on. Keep a little. Sorry about the inconvenience. We are live. Estamos en vivo. So now we will talk about, come on. Sorry. But talking about this convention of 2006 from the protection of all people from forced disappearance. I don't know if any of you have relatives, attendants like your parents or grandparents or uncles, aunts who were victims from the Stroessner regime and they were tortured or disappeared. I know a few, and of course, it's not the most pleasant feeling on earth. It's like the worst, because you never get to know anything about your relative, your family. They just disappeared, and you as the relative, you don't have the right to know anything further from that person. And
Teacher, my dad was, o sea, no es que desapareció, pero se le encarceló, en el tiempo de Stroessner a los 14, creo.
los
Because
14,
sí, porque mi tío, o sea, mi tío, el tío de mi papá era el que estaba metido en temas políticos y mi papá justo estaba con él. O sea, un quilombo pasó, pero mi papá se fue preso y el Estado, el Estado lo que le dio a mi papá fue una remuneración y hasta ahí lo que me acuerdo.
ok. Bueno, así como ven, como se dice acá en paraguayo, de arriba y téligo, ¿verdad? Solamente porque
Sí,
estaba ahí.
sí, creo que su tío quería escapar porque le pillaron que estaba haciendo esas reuniones para hablar de política y mi papá parece que le iba a llevar la cédula y se fue preso por eso.
Sí.
O algo así, una cédula le iba a llevar o algo así, no recuerdo bien cómo me explicó,
O
pero
sea,
algo así.
lo que tu papá iba a hacer era pasarle nomás su documento, ¿verdad? Para que el otro pudiera escapar por lo menos con su cédula.
Sí, algo así.
Ah,
O sea, mi papá tiene todos los documentos de que estaba preso y todo, porque obviamente tiene los documentos, por eso pudimos tener la remuneración del Estado. Y
entonces, y tu papá tenía 14 años, era menor de edad, ni siquiera tenía que...
menor de edad era, sí, 13, 14 años. Y estuvo
Wow.
preso creo que 2 años. Pero el problema es que cuando él salió de la prisión, eh, no le querían aceptar en las escuelas y eso,
También.
porque sí,
Claro, porque es discriminado, ¿verdad? Por ser también...
sí, y mi abuela también se fue presa porque tenía relación con mi tío, o sea, eran familia y supuestamente casi la mayoría de mis familiares se fueron por culpa de mi tío, porque pensaron que todos estábamos o sea, todos ellos estaban en la misma movida, vamos a decirle.
Ya. Y bueno, ahí se ve muy bien un caso concreto de cómo la no observancia de algunos derechos humanos tan básicos como por ejemplo el derecho a tener una opinión política propia o el derecho a reunirse, the right to assembly, como se dice en inglés, hacen que se desencadene una serie de violaciones sistemáticas de derechos humanos, no solo de la persona perseguida, sino que también de sus familiares o their relatives. ¿Ok? Y es por eso que es tan importante el trabajo que se hace en lo que son los organismos multilaterales de desarrollar el derecho en las distintas materias, en este caso en derechos humanos, para poder tener legislaciones cada vez más avanzadas que prevén más derechos, su protección y su promoción. Cuando muchas veces en los países no hay legislación interna. Por ejemplo, así como la compañera estaba contando, en la época de Stroessner no había eso, no había esa clase de leyes y por eso había esta clase de abusos de la autoridad. So, I can continue from here through 2006 again. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And you know what are disabilities? Well, disabilities we can translate as discapacidades. Okay. So when we talk about persons with disabilities, we are talking about, for example, people who can go and transport themselves with wheelchairs, who blind people, deaf people, people without limbs, and we certainly can use this kind of body of law because persons with disabilities, they are people too. They are not pariahs of the society or useless members of our society. They are as good as any one of us are. And then with this convention, states recognize this. Okay, as it says here, and stop viewing this person with disability as objects of charity. Okay, we have to recognize them as equal members of our society with human rights. Just because they're different doesn't mean that they don't have rights, nonetheless, human rights. Okay, and I think that the one of the main thing about this convention is that the states recognize and protect the dignity of persons with disabilities because in less evolution societies, evolved societies, sorry, um, people with disabilities are treated like freaks. Okay, just because they look different or they lack a limb or they can see or they can't hear, but they have rights. They have human rights, and they have the right to be protected as well as any other human being. Okay. So it says here that the parties to the convention parties quiere decir partes, es decir, los estados que firman la convención. Parties to the convention are required to promote, protect, and ensure the full enjoyment of human rights by persons with disabilities and ensure that they enjoy full equality under the law. What does that mean? Full equality quiere decir plena igualdad ante la ley. Okay. The convention has served as the major catalyst in the global movement from viewing persons with disabilities as objects of charity, medical treatment, and social protection, toward viewing them as full and equal members of society with human rights. It is also the only human rights instrument with an explicit sustainable development dimension. The convention was the first human rights treaty of the 21st century. This is very important. The, the very first human rights treaty of the 21st century. All right, we have a new student. I don't know who have the mic on. Can you turn it off, please? We're almost finishing the class. Don't worry. You don't have to boycott them. So we got it. So what is your opinion about this convention on the right of people, of persons with disabilities? Do you think that they are the same as someone with no disabilities? Do you know someone with disabilities? For example, in where I work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, aka La Cancillería, and we have this program um, to we are by law obliged to have employees with disabilities. This is a form of inclusion, okay? Because I was just asking if you know people with disabilities, and most people know one or two, but there are many out there. But because of the discrimination and the lack of inclusion, because of the state not doing and all they can to promote and protect them and promote their rights, they can they can't be included. They lack the inclusion on our society. The same goes with other minorities. Do you know many indigenous people? Do you know and indigenous people at all with in where you go, for example, at the university or at work or in your neighborhood or where you go, for example, to the supermarket? Are there people, indigenous people or people with disabilities working there or as shopper? I can assure you that you mostly don't, because most society don't have the inclusion as very well implemented, and that's why we have these conventions to start the change, to start changing us as a society and give those groups opportunities to insert to be part of our society. Okay, and I don't know if you have any questions. People, do you have any question or something to say? Because it's the time. We have only 4 minutes left. And well, I think that we can leave it here. What do you say? 4 minutes spare. So I see you next Friday, okay? People,
See you, teacher.
Okay, teacher.
take care. Have a great weekend. And next Friday we won't have classes, I think, because we have the holiday, right? But we'll be in touch in our WhatsApp group. Okay, so have a nice weekend. Bye bye. Take care.